It is a great honor to be here. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to present our commission, and thanks so much for your interest in our commission. The Lancet Neurology is a medical journal and is a member of the Lancet group. Some of you might know that the Lancet is the oldest medical journal in Europe, and that the Lancet Weekly, who is about to turn about 200 years old, has now become a large family of publications, among them the Lancet Neurology. But the Lancet family of journals is not only a group of publications. We believe that improving lives is the only goal of scientific research, and that research is only relevant when it has impact on human lives. Our mission is therefore not only to support clinical excellence, but also to address urgent topics in society. And I believe that after the talks this morning, I don't need to emphasize the urgency of the topic under discussion. So our mission is to put science into context, to initiate debate, and hence to try to influence decision makers. And those are the reasons that brought us here today. We know that scientific evidence is not the only source of information in policy making. We know that many trade-offs exist, that decision makers, they have plenty of other priorities, that European citizens in different countries can have different cultural values. We know that changes encounter resistance, and that many times changes can actually have unpredicted consequences. We understand that decision-making is a complex process, so we want to facilitate that decision-making. And how do we do that? Well, we try to help and facilitate that decision-making by providing the best available evidence. Now, the best available evidence on traumatic brain injury research is here. So today, thank you. Today I want to celebrate with you the launch of this landmark paper, our Commission on Traumatic Brain Injury. You can access it online for free at the address that you can see on the slide. And of course, you can read it from your booklets. I hope that everyone in this room has a booklet by now. These pages are the result of an enormous endeavor, of the extraordinary work and collaboration of dozens of experts worldwide, the members of the International Initiative for Traumatic Brain Injury Research, an initiative put together by the European Commission, by the Canadian Institutes of Health Research, and by the National Institutes of Health in the US. Many of these authors, like the people that you heard this morning, they are neurosurgeons, they are critical care specialists, they are highly specialized physicians. So that might sound scary, and that might make you think that this commission will be too complicated to read or to understand. Well, believe me, it is not. It is a very accessible document, and I would like to invite everyone to browse through these pages. And perhaps my suggestion will be to start looking into the panels with patients' testimonies. The take-home messages are actually not difficult to understand at all. So I think that taking decisions at the public health level, it is easy to forget that the brain is the most important organ in a human being. It is protected by the cranium, but it is fragile and it is very easy to damage by external hits, especially in children and especially in old people. So this figure that I've taken from the Commission, and you have seen this morning already, I think is possibly the most complicated figure in the whole paper. And as you can see, I think it's fairly clear. So after an external impact, the brain can get shear, the brain can get bruised, the brain gets under pressure, and axonal connections can be lost. And all these different damage can actually have terrible short-term and long-term consequences. So the simplified take-home message of this paper is we need to do more to prevent this damage and to heal it once it has occurred. In the words of these authors, concerted efforts to address this vast global health problem should focus on policies aimed at reducing the burden and impact of TBI through better prevention, improved access to care, and promotion of clinical research to improve treatment standards. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we recognize, though, that a great paper is not enough and that its social impact requires development, requires mobilization, and requires exposure. So that's the reason we came here today with some of the experts involved in this project to start that debate and to advocate for the idea that the 12 recommendations provided by this Commission can and will make a difference. Now, some people claim that the European society is becoming a post-truth society, a place where expert knowledge is irrelevant and self-belief and ideology are the norm. I believe that this event defies that view. And I believe that our Commission can be considered a manifesto against that post-truth that characterizes all populisms. We are here to prove that medicine serves society and that scientific knowledge can transform society. So thanks again for your interest and for joining us in supporting the best science in TBI and the best scientists that will improve the lives of citizens in Europe and elsewhere. Thank you very much.